Brody is my beautiful boy. He's 10 years old, happy-go-lucky, likes blowing raspberries, going to the sea, making my hair grey. And he has an undiagnosed genetic syndrome. He has autism, he has a learning disability and epilepsy, but no umbrella diagnosis, so it's quite a limbo. He is non-verbal and communicates really by expression and gesture, so I'm his voice in terms of advocating for him. When Brody was about 4, all of a sudden he was too big for changing tables, and the only option was to change him in a car boot or a toilet floor, which is quite horrific. So I came across changing places, toilets online, and began campaigning locally and nationally with my friends, and reached out to Palace and then ended up working for them. I think people are ignorant to learning disabilities, and it starts early with children. His school was purpose-built as a mainstream school, but the playgrounds are separated, the canteen separated. If anything, it kind of just shows the children, these children are different and they're kept behind that wall. So I think if you teach from an early age, they'll just be like, oh, that's Brody. And perhaps with adults that haven't been around that, they just don't understand. Like, a lot of people might say to me, what's wrong with Brody? And I never thought about that either until I was on the kind of receiving end of it. So now, you know, I might say, oh, has your child got a diagnosis? But it's just learning. You know, it's just a learning curve for everybody. Like, I don't see Brody as his disability, I just see him as Brody. And I would like to see more inclusion, more understanding and acceptance, and less stigma. But I think society needs to be more accessible so that everyone can be included. Things like changing places, toilets, an accessible trolley in the supermarket, things that allow disabled people to go out and access the communities. Toilets is the big one for us, I suppose, because if there isn't somewhere we can change Brody, we either cut the day short, we don't go, which affects everybody, or we change him in a horrible place. And that's heartbreaking, because you shouldn't have to do that with your kid. It's constantly having to balance the needs of everybody. Like, if we go to a park, they just don't cater for our family. And that's a pretty basic thing, you know, going to the park with your kids. It's partly awareness and partly funding, even for things like play parks, because the disability price tag. Anything that's aimed at people that are disabled is instantly expensive. Brody's buggy was thousands of pounds, his bed was £7,000, so that's something that irritates me hugely. You know, I have to advocate for Brody all the time, because no one else is going to do it, and it's tiring and it's frustrating, and there's a million other battles between fighting for accessibility or trying to get an appointment somewhere. And I don't know transitions for Brody. When he transitions out of school, it's just terrifying, to be honest, because I don't know what's going to be there for him. At the moment, I look into the future and it feels like Brody's world might shrink as he gets bigger, which is quite scary, because things get taken away, like school or respite services, which we're lacking anyway, to be honest. And I'm not sure at the moment how we'll manage, unless things change.